All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the What You Don't Hear podcast. This is a 15-minute Friday where I have a returning guest from a past episode sit down with me and chat about a specific topic, a specific subject or idea, and we just riff on it for 15 to 20 minutes with the goal of sending you away after listening to this with some actionable advice or some good advice or just some, I don't know, neat opinions to think about. And I'm excited to dig into this one. So without further ado, my guest returning once again for a 15-minute Friday, Josh Emmerich. Josh, welcome back to the pod.
Thanks for having me on as always.
This one was one out of all the any of them that we've done. This is one that I am particularly excited about chatting about because this is something that's, I don't know, pretty close to both of us. This is something that we recently unlocked in the past couple of years. And I think that, I don't know, I'd say we're both pretty excited to share a perspective share some advice and opinion and idea about what this is. The magical thing that I'm dancing around, the title of this episode, the thing that I'm building to. Here's the anticipation drum roll, please. There it is. All right, the title of this 15-minute Friday and the subject that we're talking about is mindset. Mindset. This is a thing that if you follow Josh around the internet, if you follow myself around the internet, or even this podcast, you've probably seen that word thrown around a lot, right? It's getting thrown around a lot in those captions and the subjects of things that we're talking about. So honestly, it makes sense for us to make a 15-minute Friday, to make a little video and audio piece breaking down what exactly mindset is, and a question that many people are probably asking: why in the heck do these guys care about mindset so much, and why do they try and get me to care about it?
Yeah, I have a little point on this. Are we going?
You know what? Now we're going. 15 minutes on the clock.
So you have so many points that you make on this. I think you do a really good job with it. I think if there's one thing I want people to take away is just kind of breaking down really what mindset is and getting past even how we felt about it, hearing the word over the years. Because I believe everyone has a mindset. It's just what mindset you have and how you can reprogram that, change that, adapt that, and just creating a more healthy relationship around different things in your life.
Yes.
So for me, I really would like for people to open their minds up a little bit, be more accepting to that, and digging a little bit deeper into what it really means to have a mindset and a level of awareness around different things.
Right.
So I just kind of want to lay the groundwork that it's kind of anti this word. I didn't like hearing this mindset thing at first, and it wasn't something that I was deeply appealed to. But when we started to really break down what a mindset is and what mindsets we had, that's when we started to see a huge change in our lives.
Yes. So what you're kind of saying is people hear positive mindset and you think, oh, that's like some weird hippie stuff. That's magic. That what are you talking about? How is that even a real thing?
So
like
fake.
It's very fake. It's okay. Pretend everything's okay. Pretend you're positive. Blah 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 blah. That's what I really want to break down.
That dog, like the dog with the fire around him.
Yeah, the this is fine. The this is fine meme, right? So I agree. I definitely want to break that down. And I think that's how we start this, right? So let's start with a little bit of a story. Okay, so let's pull from the normal full-length episodes of What You Don't Hear, which, by the way, folks, you can listen to on iTunes and Spotify anytime. You got access to the entire archives, any episode you'd like to listen to at any moment in time. Don't forget to subscribe. But anyway, after the plugs and promotions, brother, I want to, let's pull from that. Let's pull from the storytelling episodes, and I want to lay the groundwork with that. So a couple of years ago, you and I were both in terrible, terrible places, right? Now, I don't mean physically like we were stuck in hell or something, but mentally, we were there, right? We were both, and I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible because we only got 15 minutes. We were unhappy with who we were. We were down on our luck. We didn't have a lot of work. We had just released a cool new demo reel for our music video work. It got zero. That's an okay sign. Zero. You hear it. You see it. It got no clients. None at all. We got nothing from this thing that we were very proud of. So we were down in the dumps. And I think this was a time that both of us were contemplating going back to, quote unquote, the real world, going back to, again, for lack of a better term, day jobs. And we were going to stop the pursuit of creativity. We were going to stop the pursuit of trying to be entrepreneurs and build a brand and have clients and live the lives that we wanted to live, right? So all in all, we were about to give up.
Yep.
So I stumble upon some podcasts just like this one. And just to speed through the story, I hear and learn about this thing called mindset, right? Positive mindset. So again, you hear that, you're like, this is hippie stuff, this is magic, this is fake. I thought the same thing, honestly. I've always tried to be a pretty positive person and look at things, on the bright side and all that sort of stuff, but I didn't know how to harness that quote-unquote power. I didn't know how to harness that energy, or more so, that thought process. So that is when we get to mindset. So I explain it to you. We both kind of take a couple weeks to really study and learn and really ingest what having a positive mindset actually means and how you purpose that into actionable things.
Yep.
So let's dig in. I've laid enough of the groundwork. What is, that's just it. What is mindset? But more importantly, what is it not? And I've got a bunch of points I want to make, but I want to throw it to you for right now.
To me, what it is, I can speak on that a lot more than anything else, is it's a system and a process for anything that you're gonna tackle, whether that be in business, whether that be personal, anything. How you're gonna react to something. You say this a lot better than me, but it's really about how you react to something versus what happens to you. Everyone has things happen to them. There's nothing unique there. You have your unique problems, I have mine. But at the end of the day, are you going to let that problem define you? Or are you going to define that problem, adapt to it? Where we were in business, a lot of venting. A lot of this is a problem, that's a problem. We were great at finding the problem. And not to say we were always this, we've always been slightly positive people. But we were doing a lot more complaining and not finding the solution. That to me is the process system of mindset. That's where I think, this is where I can break it down. It's like, it's a process of like, okay, where's our weak points? Where's our weak points? How do we strengthen those weak points? Do we give a shit about solving these weak points, or are we wasting our energy going here? We had a lot of goals and a lot of aspirations. Actually, I won't even call them goals. We had a lot of aspirations, a lot of things that we wanted. To me, the process and system of mindset is looking at those things and saying, systematically, what does it take to get this done? That to me is the proactive mindset. Now, where I think people would really benefit the most from mindset is the reactive mindset. Being a level of awareness of, hey, when this certain thing happens, and it happens to me a lot, how do I react to it? So I'm going to use a little example. There used to be what we referred to as Jerk Josh. Now, Jerk Josh was a dickhead. On set, this is where I would, come to surface. Everyone is looking to ask me questions, and I get just flooded with questions. And I get frustrated, and I'd say, it's over there, get me the thing in the place of the what. That's piss poor delegation. That's bad communication. So why is that wrong? My frame of mind was, why are you asking me a stupid freaking question? But the person asking me the question wants to help me and support me. So I need to have the frame of mind of, this person's coming over here to ask me a question to help support me. Now, I'm not saying every question is good. I've had annoying questions. But eliminating Jerk Josh by knowing how I'm reacting to them asking questions is piss poor. So I need, oh, wow, I didn't actually even mean that.
It's a weird analogy to make, quite convenient.
Yeah, but being a level of awareness to that, of like, okay, how do I react to this more positively? That's one frame of mind. So what is not mindset? I feel like you do this well.
So here, what mindset isn't is magic, is fake, is acting like things aren't as bad as they are. So I think a lot of people, and really I've had some of these conversations with people since I've started, projecting outwardly this like idea of mindset and being a positive person and changing who you are and all this sort of stuff. I've had these conversations where people are like, yeah, I look at that stuff and I don't know. It's just, I see what you post on social media. I get it. Be a positive person. I just don't think that works for me. it's not this magical thing that is just made up. And more specifically, I'll say it again. Positive mindset is not pretending that everything is okay.
Mm-hmm.
It is not sitting in a room full of flames, doing nothing, and saying, "Oh no, I'm going to ignore what's around me.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
Recognize
fine."
the flames and get the hell out of there.
Right. Or find a solution to stop the flames to prevent from burning your entire doghouse down.
See,
Come on,
we
dog.
just gave
Get something.
an option A and an option B.
Exactly.
There's more than one solution to problems.
I do hope that dog is okay, though.
I do too.
I do hope
We
that,
like doggos.
found a solution and put that fire out. So, but that's just the point. I think a lot of people look at mindset and they're like, again, oh yeah, sure, say mindset, say positivity, and it'll solve all your problems, and that's not it. It's looking past all that. So going back to what it is, it's making a system out of how you think and figuring out. I'll say it again just to clarify it. A lot of mindset has to deal with your reaction to things. So I say it all the time. I'll say it again here. It needs to be in this episode. What happens does not matter. Your reaction to it does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it one more time just to clarify, because the first time I heard that, I was like, I think that makes sense, but I'm not sure. So here you go, folks. Get a pen and a paper ready. Write this down. What happens does not matter. Your reaction to it does. So what that means is going back to our story example, where we were, right? Another example. We would look at everything. We would look at the fact that we didn't have work and we weren't getting paid what we wanted to get paid, or weren't doing the projects we wanted to do, having to debate on whether we need to go back to our old jobs and all that sort of stuff and give up the self-employed lifestyle. Mm-hmm. We were doing that because every problem that was getting thrown at us, we were looking at it not from a solution-based mindset, but from just simply identifying it as an annoyance and as a problem and saying, that sure does suck. Woe is me. This is bad for me. This sucks. My life sucks every day. I can't change it. Rather than looking at those things and catering our reactions to something that truly feeds an actual growth from adversity, right? Mm-hmm. From actually looking at something and saying, okay, this is an issue and this is a problem. The thing you should answer problems with are not more problems. Answer them with solutions, whether it's small, whether it's big, whether it's somewhere in the middle, or whether it's something that you're not exactly sure what the immediate solution is. That's what it's about, is shifting your thought process, shifting your mindset into figuring out and breaking down what are the steps in which I can find the solution that I might not be aware of, and then turning things around.
Well, the pondering piece that you said there, what's the solution? Like, instead of problems versus solutions, maybe you don't have the answer right then and there. That's fine. There's a lot of power in not having the answer right then and there. But ponder on it. Think on it a little bit. Have a discussion about it, with other people. Like, I think a big thing for me is, realizing that while I like to stroke the ego every once in a while and have the right answer, maybe my answer isn't the best. But if I have a team of people and I can find, the right answer within the room, then that helps, move everything forward. One piece, though, is like, there's a lot of people have a hard time getting on the positive train. I think the biggest thing is the recognition. Recognize what the problem is, or recognize whatever the present issue is, the awareness. Mm-hmm. What's in front of me? What do I have to react to right now? Yeah. Maybe you can't get on the positive train. Maybe there's kind of three ways. There's negative thinking, there's positive thinking, and there's neutral thinking. Trevor Moad, he does like a whole thing on the neutral thinking. So this is not my idea, but I really grabbed onto it because I'm like, maybe I can't get super positive on something right away. When I tend to get positive on something, it's when we're finding the solution. I'm seeing like, here's the track forward. But at least, at the very least, if I can eliminate some of those negative thoughts around something, that's going to eliminate me from going down, the self-loathing, depressed, like I just freaking hate this whole thing, and that's just not healthy. It's also probably not super healthy to be like, this horrible thing is the best thing that's ever happened to me. But if we can say, this is what's happened, this is the reality of everything, and, we're going to find a solution forward. Mm-hmm. Don't know what that is right now, but we're going to find it. We're going to ponder it. I'm going to maybe look for feedback from 2, 3, 4 people. And I'm not saying I got to do what everyone says, but getting that feedback can be helpful. So this isn't a direct reaction, but like, let's emotionally, discharge right now. And we're not going to react to it right in this moment.
Right.
We have time.
Right. And the awareness is a huge point in figuring out how mindset works for you, or how it may not work for you, but how you can turn it into something that you actually can grow from or grow with or whatever it may be. Because I think a big example that can be used there is, a lot of people, they have this job that they hate and every day sucks because they have to go to this job. Look at that issue, look at that problem with a solution-based mindset of, okay, what can I do to get out of this? And the answer is like, well, I need money. I can't just go get another job. What other job can serve what you truly need, can give you that money, can give you a better environment? There is a solution to most things. No matter what it is you're going through or where it is you've come from or what anybody has said you can or cannot do, if you can really take honest control of your mindset, whether you're thinking positively, whether you're thinking negatively and need to change it, or whether you found that neutral way of thinking, of just identifying and being aware of what's around you, that's when you can then make a plan to find that solution. It doesn't always have to be an immediate solution. And again, harping back to what we said earlier, that's how a lot of people, I think, view mindset, and that's not what it is. They look at it and they're like, oh, it's a fake immediate solution. You're acting like there's not an issue. And that's completely wrong, honestly, at least in my opinion. Like, mindset and being positive is identifying what the problem is, letting it affect you in whatever way it needs to affect you, identifying that it is bad, that it is not something that you want to continue to engage with, or it's just something that happened in a moment and then you're going to carry it with you again. It doesn't matter that it happened. It matters how you reacted to it. And are you aware of where you are in that moment and who you are and what you need to do to change or to grow or to whatever it is? Like, that's the biggest thing. And I feel like I'm talking in circles, but like the biggest thing that I learned from mindset was that I have the power over anything that affects me or the way that I affect anything. The example of Boss Josh, right? You not being focused on how can I positively react to this and work with this person to find a solution. You were just like, what the hell? Stop asking me questions. I'm doing this other thing. I don't want to be bothered by this right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you outwardly are projecting this negativity that didn't need to be there. And then once you figure out it didn't need to be there, you were like, oh, I'm finding way better ways to find solutions. And that can work in anything.
And that's a huge piece right there, is you don't have to have the only solution. Use your sounding board, the people around you, empower them to have some of those questions. And also that level of awareness. I was aware that I was being jerk Josh. You guys called me out on it. Like it was a joke to kind of keep me in check of like, you're kind of being a jerk right now. Like let's take that back. So then I can look at it more holistically of like, maybe this is where I empower someone else who knows more. Go ask that person questions. Today we have systems in place because of that faulty mindset that was rewired to be a better mindset now. Right.
So as we kind of get into the last few chapters here of this 15-minute Friday, something big I want to talk about, because we've talked about being aware. We've talked about identifying what mindset really is, what it's not, how you can kind of harness that and all that sort of stuff. And there's another big example that I want to leave us on. This is something that, again, like you said, and a lot of folks, everything, honestly, in this episode, we didn't make up.
Yeah.
This is not from us. This is what we have learned from others and absorbed
Borrowing
from others.
From a lot of people.
Yes, we have learned this stuff. And again, just like the story I told at the start of the podcast, these are things that we learned in a, quite frankly, a dark time of each of our lives or our careers that helped us navigate our day-to-day lives. So I preface that to say this. There's this idea of be, do, and have. Right? 3 simple words right there. So I learned this from, I believe it was Kevion Sturdivant, right? From the Short Story Long podcast. He was a guest. 100%. Go listen to that. If you want to listen to anybody talk about...
I second that so hard.
Yeah. If you want to listen to people talk about mindset better than we are, where you're getting it kind of secondhand of what we learned and how we used it. If you want to go straight to the source of a lot of what we've learned, I believe it is episode 50 of the Short Story Long podcast. I've got that ingrained in my brain because I refer everyone to that. If you want to learn anything about mindset or dig deeper, go there because that's where I got this. So it's this idea of be, do, have. It's something that I have adapted or adopted rather, into something that I say a lot, I tell a lot of people, and it's something that genuinely helped me shift who I was. So we use career as an example, right? So not getting work, I'm not, getting the things and the type of projects that I want. I'm struggling with clients, and I'm also relying on you a lot. I'm sitting and saying, well, Josh didn't get us new clients, so we don't have work. What am I supposed to do? Right? So we're in this awful trench together during this time period, get introduced to this idea. So let's break it down. Be, do, have. What do those 3 words mean, and what do those 3 steps mean, and how can you make that really provide you something in your daily life? The first step is be it. So whatever it is you want to be, whatever it is you think you could be, whatever it is you can picture yourself as, down the trail, down the road, further into the story, start being that. Start identifying yourself as somebody who is a positive person, by somebody who is a healthy person, or somebody who does help other people or create great things, or is a smart business person. Identify yourself and start being that. So that's the first step. There's the be. Now the do. Take the things that the person you're being, take those things, take what that is, what that identity is that you've created, and start doing the things that the person you want to be would do. And I'm throwing so many words back to back here, but I think it's making sense, right?
Oh, it's making a ton of sense.
Do the things that you want future you to do. Just start doing them. Start creating. Start having the conversation. Start engaging people the way that you want. Start reaching out to certain people. Start creating those friendships, taking those chances, whatever it is. Do the things that you want the future you to do. So now you're being it, which means you're taking the second step of doing the things that identity would do. Now at the end, the goal is if you actually follow those steps, whether it's a long game, whether it's a short game, whether it's a week, a year, a month, whatever. If you're being it and then you're doing it, what you'll find in the end is now you have it. You will have the life or the results or the career or the friendships, the relationships, the energy or the mindset, to keep it with the theme of the podcast. You will have those things that you wanted at the start just by identifying it and taking those steps.
I want to use an example real quick.
Yeah.
I want to shift it away from the business side. I'm going to open up a little bit, and I'm just going to say, I use this same thing with my marriage. Been married 13 years. And, it does get difficult. It does get hard. And I looked at my marriage in this dark time too. That was one of the big things. We need to shift business. We need to shift ourselves. But I also looked at myself as disappointed in the husband that I was being, and what that could look like as the father that I would end up being. So for that, there's everything that I want out of the relationship. That's the have part. This is where I think it becomes very practical. Like, it's easy to say, gosh, I wish I had this. I wish I had this type of relationship, this sort of thing. This is where the accountability, the personal side, it is up to you to make the changes. And if you want someone else to make a change, you need to have the actions to follow that up. So B to me was mentally reframing the type of husband I was going to be. This is me just saying, this is the type of husband I'm going to be. And then the have was doing the research, reading the books, listening to things, listening to my wife, listening to myself, and changing my actions to have the relationship that I wanted.
Right.
This is the common thing. You can apply this across the board.
Yes.
But I always look at the B as the mental reframing. That's the start. That's the foundation. Once you have that, you can start to research tools, or in the process, you maybe reframe that a little bit. But the have is really like it's the work, or the do. It's the work, like not just physical, like mental, like you're working in that in a lot of different ways.
Yes. And I'm glad you gave that example, because that was kind of the next part of, just to wrap up the be, do, have idea, is that most often people do it backwards. People look at it the other way.
Yeah.
So they first identify what they want to have, right? And they're more so not looking at it from a goal setting standpoint, but they're looking at it, like you said, of the, in order to do this or to be this or whatever, I have to have this. I have to have the money and the fame in order to do this thing that I want. and then I can be the thing that I want.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at it the wrong way, and they expect that they have to have everything first in order to then be able or be allowed to do the things they want to do, to then in the end be and become the person that they want to be.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of be, do, have is flip-flopping that.
Yeah.
Flipping it and not waiting on, once I have this, then I can do this, then I can finally be that. Flip it on its head, and that's a process that you just explained worked for you. It's 100% one of the biggest things that I've learned in mindset and has worked for me.
That's the fallacy we had before all this.
Right.
All these things that we wanted in business and projects and aspirations, we could identify all of that, but we weren't identifying, who it was that we were, what uniqueness we had to kind of get us there, to be able to actually do it effectively.
Mm-hmm.
It's like once we spent the time up front of like, all right, let's really reframe who we got to be, to be able to do, and then have what we want. And
right.
We're still not there.
Nope.
We're always going to be working towards those halves.
Yep.
Those
it's
are
always
going to
change.
Yeah.
100%. And that's a direct example from me. The word was in there. Being a director. I sat for so long and I was like, oh, well, I'm sure I'm directing music videos, but, oh, well, once I have the ability to direct some narrative work, to direct movies or short films or whatever it is, then I'll be able to do more of that work. Then I can do what a director does, and then finally I'll be a director. Mm-hmm. Something as simple as truly identifying what I was already doing and shifting my mindset into identifying that and understanding that I was already a director.
Yeah.
And I just needed to open myself up and understand that. So instead of looking at it as the have, do, be, well, I'm just going to start saying I am a director. Right? It's that positive influence of using some positive words, using more affirming phrases. Mm-hmm. I started saying, nope, I am a director. I am a this. I am an entrepreneur. I am a that. I am a whatever. Because then once you really affirm yourself, once you really put that and ingrain it into your mind, get that mindset, then you're being it, you're going to start doing it, and then one day you'll figure out that you have it. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be a different level for so many things. I can sit and be like, yep, cool, I'm a director. But that doesn't mean that I'm just done. That doesn't mean that the hard work stops. That doesn't mean that there's not more levels that I can do with that.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's about flip-flopping that. It's about identifying it and just doing it. Just doing it and figuring it out. And that's how you're going to lead yourself into figuring out how you can have the things you want and be the person you want to be. That's the first step. Mm-hmm. So, we've talked in circles. I think I'm losing my voice.
It's important.
But this is a thing that, as you can tell, folks, we're both pretty freaking passionate about. Mm-hmm. Because, again, it sounds hippie, it sounds all self-helpy and all this sort of stuff, even though that's the point of this podcast. It sounds over the top. But genuinely, it's not. It's really not. Like, that was the biggest thing that I realized through all this is I was in control of my life. That's what it is. And even that sounds silly to say, but, it's like, stop looking at it for what it's not. Stop looking at it as this fake magical thing and realize that it's grounded completely in reality. And whether it's tonight, tomorrow, next week, next month, even if things are shitty for the next year, the year after that, you can choose to change literally at any moment.
Just try it out. What's it hurt?
Also, just try and think positive. Try and not get angry at traffic when you're stuck in a traffic jam, or not get super pissed when that person kind of cuts you off. Like, what does that really do to the rest of your day? Sure, you're a little bit late to where you were getting to go. It's not the end of the world. And if it's a job and if they really fire you over the fact that you were 5 minutes late, do you really need that job anyway? Does it really suit you?
Probably a terrible team culture. Let's be honest.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different ways to look at it. Like, you don't have to get mad at those things. If you have a confrontation with somebody, we did a whole episode of 15-Minute Friday on how to handle confrontation. I think that feeds into mindset greatly, that I would implore people to go dig into. But the thing is, we've learned a lot. It literally has changed the way that I live my day-to-day life, whether I'm angry about something, whether I'm sad, or whether I'm happy. Because again, having a positive mindset isn't about always being happy. I have terrible days. You have terrible days. Weeks, months, years, just like those lyrics from the Friends theme song. Sometimes it's just not any of those. Positive mindset is about pushing through that, finding the solution, and figuring out how you adapt and grow through those things. And it's something that we care about a lot. So before we turn this into a full-length episode of the What You Don't Hear podcast, let's wrap it up. Be aware of what you're doing, what you want to do, who you are right now, and what maybe you can change. The biggest thing, understand that what happens, I'll say it again, what happens doesn't matter. Your reaction to it does. So if you react to something in a hugely negative way, it's going to be worse than maybe what it was, right? And all in all, figure out how you really structure those steps of be, do, and have for what you can do in your day-to-day life to gain and figure out the things and the person that you want to be.
Love it.
Perfect. There's an episode on mindset. We've been waiting a while to really knock that one out of the park, and hopefully we just did. Hopefully you listening or watching on YouTube appreciated some of the stuff that we shared on this episode of a 15-minute Friday, landing around half an hour or so. So you know what? It's whatever. And hey, there it is. That's a great example of mindset. It's called a 15-minute Friday. Maybe we lied. Maybe it's longer than that, but it doesn't matter. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Hopefully you found some valuable information in those 30 minutes. So if you want to talk to Josh more about mindset, you can find him around the internet at
J.M. Emmerich.
J.M. Emmerich. If you want to talk to me about mindset or any of this sort of stuff, you can follow and find me at Who's Ross Tyson. I almost said the podcast one. Listen, there's W's at the start of both of them. It's kind of hard. I feel like I do this so much. But realistically, let's be honest, it's one and the same. If you're messaging the podcast page, you're talking to me, folks. So it doesn't matter if it's at Who's Ross Tyson or if it's at WYDH Pod. You're going to have a conversation with me either way. Don't forget to subscribe. If you found anything valuable as well in this episode, please share it around. Share it and add a little caption of what it is you found valuable. Tag the podcast, tag Josh, tag myself, because the whole point of us doing this, of course, to give advice and share opinion and maybe motivate somebody, it's to have conversations, and it's to get conversations started about things that maybe people don't talk about all that much. So I'm going to stop talking because this is going to go much longer than what it needs to be. Folks, he's been Josh. I've been Ross. That was an episode about mindset, and that was a 15-minute Friday. Goodbye and good night.